Today, we have another bonus episode on the Compressor Guru. The Guru has a great conversation with longtime friend and biker Johnny Shuster. Johnny was good friends with my father. I always wanted to say this, so now here's Johnny.
Guru.
Oh,
Welcome to the Compressor Guru. We have a lot of friends, and they're all gearheads. And this is a bonus episode. We are going to be doing some bonus episodes that we either interview our gearhead friends or we go look at some projects that our gearhead friends are doing. We're going to be taping one next Tuesday. Today we have a guy that's 29 years old. He rides a Harley, that's why he looks this way. No, this is John Shuster. John and Carol stopped here on 9/11 a couple days ago and have been staying here. And from time to time, John stops and visits, and we're glad to have him every time he shows up. But we were sitting by the fire Friday night, and I realized that John's just so interesting to talk to. I thought we ought to share it with our viewers. John's a gearhead. He's a biker. He has stories, and we just thought it'd be pretty fun to sit down and share some stories. John, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
It's always a pleasure to come here.
So, John, you've been all over the country on motorcycles.
Yes.
Now, you're not 29. How?
I will be 88 in December.
88 years.
Yep.
What's that in dog years? Maisie's right here. She wants to know.
How old are you?
Well, and you're still riding.
Yes, I am.
Now, when you're still on two wheels, or you're on three wheels?
Well, I was on two wheels until about a year. 16. In 16, I got three wheels
Yeah.
because Carol wanted to know if I would like to go on three wheels so she could go because she has back problems.
Yeah.
So she only goes on local rides, not long distance.
Yeah.
I've done,
Carol's your wife and girlfriend.
well, somebody I sleep with.
Oh, okay. So, how long you been married to Carol?
56 years?
It'll be 60 years sometime soon.
Oh, yeah, 60
And
years.
she told me, you better remember.
I can't remember the dates. But
So-
she's 82, and we met in California. I was in the service, I was an MP, and she was in the wax, which they don't have anymore.
Yeah.
They don't have wax anymore. And so we got married, and we've been married ever since. And she knows how to read orders. When I was in the service, so that was one of the best problems, because
Yeah.
when I got orders to leave someplace, she knew about it.
Yeah. She's going to join us later. She has a story about her reading orders and you being missing.
I'll let her tell that story.
Because she shared that with me the other night, and I'm like, yeah, we need to spend some time with you on camera too. She can be a muckraker, can't she?
Yes, she can.
So
Oh, look out.
anyway, you were in the army. When did you go into service?
I went to service in 3 March 50.
Okay,
3 March 50.
so you were about 20.
Yeah, I spent...
You were 18.
18. Then I spent 2.5 years in Austria. And then I came back out and I went to B&W down in Beaver Falls, steel mill, worked there for a while. They had a big layoff, And I told my mother, I am going back in the service, I'm staying in, and I stayed in for 21 years.
Yeah. Now, somewhere in that story of between Austria and when you were at the steel mill is the reason we know each other.
Yes,
You went to school.
I went to school with Eric.
Yeah, my father-in-law, he's gone now.
Yep.
And it was Penn College, Penn Trade School. What's
Yeah.
the name of it?
I think it's Penn College, Penn Trade School College
Yeah.
in Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. And you and Eric got to be friends there. And
Oh yes, we'd come up here, go deer hunting every year, and just had a blast. We really enjoyed it all the time.
And that's actually how I know you, because you'd come in and visit Eric, and I of course was floating around here one place or another.
Oh
and
yes.
I'm sure glad you come back and visit us now. I know you come to visit Ruby too, but
Yep.
we consider you a deer treasure. I don't mean a deer like 4 legs,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. Okay. So, anyway, so you went back in the service, and what did you do?
Well, I
Now,
was,
when did you meet? When did you meet Carol? When you were an MP, you said.
yeah.
When now was that?
Well, I
in
went.
the first stint or the second stint or?
Well, I got out, and the second time I went back in, I went to MP school, and from there I went to Korea, and then I went to Fort MacArthur, California, and that's where I met Carol. She was in the wax,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd go over to the hospital and bother her.
Was she injured?
No, harass her, whatever. and then I would. Then they came up with my sergeant, platoon sergeant, told me, if you're going to reenlist, get out of the MP because there's no rank in it. So I said okay. So I went in aviation, and I reenlisted for helicopter, rotary wings. Well, I get down to Fort Rucker, Alabama, and they wanted to put me in fixed wing. And I told them, no, I'm prior service, and I'm staying in rotary wing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been in rotary for 18 years. And I've been riding motorcycles since about 53 when I was up at Williamsport.
Yeah. What was your first motorcycle?
Oh, it was a 37, 74, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now that 74 indicates cubic inches, or about a 750.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how many Harley riders we have going to listen to this, but I figured we'd translate that into metric for the metric folk out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
But I've had many Harleys through the years.
You've had many Harleys since I've known you.
Yeah.
So
Strictly Harleys. I haven't owned another type of motorcycle.
mm-hmm.
Just Harley Davidson.
There's other types?
Yeah, there are other types.
So now I see you got some patches on there. I see 350,000 mile. You belong to Hog. I belong to Hog. I also belong to A-Bait. Of course, I'm part of CMA, the Christian Motorcyclist Association. But I see the 350,000 mile patch. Is that that can't be accurate? I know how much you ride.
Well, yeah, back in 1953, I didn't know anything about the mileage, and finally I found out about it, and so I registered and been going ever since. I do a lot of run for the wall, which I drive from here to Ontario, California. We join up there, and then we ride to DC to the wall, and it's for our brother veterans that can't ride. or deceased.
Now, do you just ride straight through, or do you
No,
make
no.
stops, or?
No, it takes us 10 days, and they got prearranged gas stations, and we make our own. They give us a list of hotels, motels to stay at, and so we make our own reservations there.
So
And-
you just ride from one to the other, stopping, sleeping, and gas, and that's it?
Yep. Besides that, we very seldom have to pay for any food.
Yeah.
VFW invites us, schools do, churches do, so we always have a lot of food to eat,
Wow.
except everybody has beans.
Good thing you're on bikes.
Well, that's a problem for me.
Yeah,
The way my butt fits in the seat,
Oh.
I can't. It builds up. I can't get rid of
You-
it. I
you
gotta,
can't shift?
No, I got to stand up. And well, don't you guys stop at children's homes or?
yes,
Okay,
veterans
okay.
homes, and different places
And you
like
make
that.
those stops on that run. It's
Oh,
not
yes.
just ride and eat.
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I was gonna be
Yeah.
editing this because I'm like, no, we're not gonna talk about a ride and eat ride. Tell us about the homes and the kids you stop and see.
Well, we go up to, like in St. Louis, there's a veterans home, a hospital, and we get go up there, but not with this virus. We wasn't allowed to do this anymore. But once the virus is gone, we will be back in focus again and visit children's home. We go by old people's home, and they're all out there, and they're just amazed at the bikes that come riding past them. So we really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I'm on the fuel crew, which is, we go ahead of the main party, and we check out the gas station for grease and that. And then they come in, and we hand them the pump for gas, and if they get $4.50 for gas, it costs them $5 because we don't make change,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of the money goes to chase vehicles.
Oh, okay.
So we always have a chase vehicle, a couple of them follow us, and we also have a truck with drinks and potato chips and fruit and stuff like that, refreshments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How many's on the fuel crew? How many people are on Ride for the Wall?
Well, they usually have about 22 on the fuel crew.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get too many on. Sometimes we get maybe 300 to 400 riders on a route.
Right, right.
They got 3 routes. They got one that goes down through Texas. That's a southern route. They started one with a midway. That's the best one because it goes 95. No, it goes 40 from California, and then to Nashville, I think it is. Then it switches into 95. So you only have 2 routes to worry about.
Oh, okay.
And then they got one that goes up north, up through Kansas and through a ski lodge, which I really don't favor that because when you get up at 5:30 in the morning,
There's a 5:30 in the morning.
it's colder. It's colder than blazes, and so I stick with Midway.
Yeah.
And if you get up late on Midway, just go down in that route, and you're bound to catch
Mm-hmm.
the group there. And then once they come in and gas up, then they go over and have a break, and the fuel crew books out to the next gas station.
Oh, okay.
And it's just leapfrogs like that. One good thing about the fuel crew is whenever we're finished gassing at the last place, we book down to the motel. So we don't have to wait in line because getting our reservations.
Now, you've invited me many times to go on a Ride for the Wall, and I've either had the money or the time. I've never had both at the same time. But why do you go on?
I enjoy it, enjoy the riding. I have many friends on the ride, and it's supporting the military,
Yeah.
the brothers that have passed away.
Yeah.
And now they got a new one. It's called the Sandbox. It's on Ottawa, Illinois.
Okay.
And the reason it's called the Sandbox, it's a monument for the ones that are Afghanistan, Desert Storms, and that. So now most of the people are going to go to D.C. for the wall, and then from D.C. they go to the Sandbox.
Oh, okay.
So it's a nice ride. And one year we went to D.C. We had no rain whatsoever. And everybody said, well, how'd you do that? I said, I talked to the guy upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
And I tell him, God, will you give us dry roads and sunny weather? And we had it completely across the whole United States like that.
Wow. I've been doing it wrong. I usually ask. You just tell him. So
We've always had a safe ride.
yeah. So you mentioned God. Where are you at with God?
I'm right with him.
You're right with him. Good. I'm glad to call you brother.
I talk to him all the time.
Yeah.
When I ride out there by myself, which I do most of the time, I ride out by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we have conversations and we talk about the clouds and this and that and the traffic. So we're always talking back and forth.
That's my radio broke a few years ago on the Harley, and I haven't replaced it yet. Actually, I got a new one, but I'm not going to put it on until after my next long run. Because one of the reasons is when your radio's broke, you talk a lot more to God. There's
Oh, yes.
a lot more opportunity to.
Yes, you do.
And I'm not going to call it praying. It is praying, but for those of you that don't really understand prayer, it's not this holy, I got to use big fancy God words. It's
Every day.
You're talking to your best friend you'll ever have.
Yep.
And that's what it is. And he wants to know how you're doing. One of the things that led me to Christ, my pastor said, "Bud, just start praying." And I'm like, "What?" He says, "Don't pray for this or pray for that. Just let God know how you're doing."
Yep.
And it's about relationship. He wants a relationship with us. So we've got a good relationship with God. We've got a good relationship with each other.
Yep.
Life is good. So I'm not putting my radio on I'm not putting my new radio on my bike till after this next trip because I get a lot more chance to pray. But I do love my music.
Oh, yes.
And I heard country music coming out of your radio when you rolled in last night. We went on a nice little run yesterday. We rode about 100 miles on all the twisties in the hills here.
Carol did not go because if she would have went, Val wouldn't have been able to carry enough toilet paper in her sidecar for her. She does like twisties and turns, and she calls these mountains, which
they're hills.
just hills.
But we had a nice ride. We had ice cream.
Oh, yes.
And just beautiful day to be out. We stopped at the Harley shop, Du Bois Harley in Du Bois, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
They call it the most interesting Harley shop in the world. And I don't know if it is or isn't, but they got the inside painted up like Main Street and broke down into shops, and the parts counter has a theater marquee over top of it, like you're going to the theater, and it's really a very unique shop.
Oh, yes, sir.
And they had a bike there I wanted, but it was $44,000. And Val said no.
That's without a trade-in.
Yeah, my trade-in is not worth much. When you put more than 20,000 miles on a Harley, they don't really want to give you anything for them. I got 75,000 on my current Harley.
I have 83.
It had 30 on when you bought it.
No, not quite.
How many does that Trek have on now?
I don't know.
Okay.
I I just have many on it.
Now, got a picture we're going to put up here. The fairing on your bike, it's got some paint on the front. You want to tell me about that paint?
Yep, it has my wings, senior aviation wings for a helicopter, and then I got a DFC on, which is, I think I got it right here.
Yep.
And it stands for Distinguished Flying Cross. I was awarded that, and that's my prized possession.
I'm sure. When I found out John had a DFC, we were out visiting him in his house in Iowa, and I walked down the hall, and there's a Bronze Star hanging on the wall.
Oh, yes.
And I said, John, what do you get the Bronze Star for? And I call him John. Everybody calls him Johnny, and I'm going to call you Johnny for the rest of this because I can't.
Sure.
It feels so unnatural calling you John. Johnny, what do you get the Bronze Star for? And his response was, well, same thing I got the DFC for. And I don't. Explain the difference.
Rescuing people.
Mm-hmm.
The DFC is above the Purple Heart. Purple Heart, you got to draw blood. I never drew any blood on my flights.
Mm-hmm.
I never went down. So my next one was a Bronze Star, and I guess it wasn't as important as a DFC on the first flight. So
But it was the same thing. You went in,
Just
got somebody
about.
out. Yeah. So,
about the same.
so you were on a helicopter in Vietnam and never went down.
Nope.
I understand.
Got shot a few
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, but it's my understanding. When I was a kid, Vietnam was going on, and my sister's boyfriend came home, and he said something to the effect of, "Well, over there, helicopter pilots, their life expectancies from here till they get off the ground."
Yep.
And the fact that how long did you spend there?
I was there in 60, 61 in Saigon, and we had Hueys then.
61.
Yeah,
That was real early.
yes it was. And we flew slick ships, and everybody else said they flew slicks, but we had no armament. We had a groin protector and a flak vest, that was it. We had no outside guns or rockets or anything like that. So that's about the major of it. And we go to a Connex, which is a metal box with iron doors on it, and we'd pick up our weapons that we wanted. We wanted a submachine gun, a shotgun, or whatever. And that was it.
I want to stop you. We might back up and do this again. I'm not sure. 61. I didn't know we were there in 61.
We went in there right after the French pulled out.
Okay. So you were there early.
Yes, yes. And one time we was flying over there, and we flew a Providence chief, and he said he wanted to go over see this village. Okay, so we flew over there, and we're coming down to land, hovering down, and there's these Vietnamese with they were working the garden. And I told the pilots, I said, this picture does not look good because why aren't they looking up at the helicopter? I said, we better deed him out. In other words, get the heck out of here. And so we come to find out it was VC headquarters. And if we would have landed, that would have been it.
Oh, yeah.
So we got the heck out of there.
I'm glad you did.
Yes.
So, after Vietnam, where'd you go?
Went to Germany, then I went back to Vietnam in 70, well, I went to the States, and then I went back to Vietnam in 70, 71, and I was on sky cranes.
Oh, okay. Now, what's a sky crane?
Sky cranes are those big ones.
I know what they are. I'm talking about for the viewers. It's that magical hook we need when we don't have anything to lift something out in the field.
It looks like a praying mantis. It comes down like that, and then they then the tail boom, then two arms hang out with the,
I'll throw a picture in.
yeah.
I'll edit the picture in while you're describing it.
Well,
You got one? Oh, there's one. Can you zoom in on?
which, where?
Can you zoom in on that, Val?
The one that looks like a helicopter?
Yeah, it's picking a.
They all look
Yeah.
like helicopters.
I see. Well, what else you got on that shirt?
Well,
What's on the other side? Another one of them. No, it's different.
That's a Chinook on the other side.
It is, but it's carrying a vehicle too.
Or should have gone. But,
And then the bottom ones are just, let me see your bottom ones. I don't want to see your belly button. I just want to see. You don't need to see them. I need to see them.
That's a Huey. But if you watch California firefighting out in the forest, you'll see that sky cranes do a lot of flying out there, dropping water on things. And I never went down, but we did have a episode where a new pilot, we always flew with two pilots, and so he wanted to see what the ground troops were doing, so we had to go over there and land it. Anyhow, he couldn't take off because he said he could only get one engine started. We fly with two engines, and they told him in school that he could never fly with one engine. And I told him, I said, this is my helicopter. You get your butt and fly over there, because there was a compound half a mile over. So we went over there and sat down, and they had already called up our home maintenance, and they were flying another engine up for us. And it was Father's Day monsoon season, and we were disconnecting everything, and the pilots came out and said, now how are we going to take it off the top deck, put it on the ground, and put the other engine up there? I said, oh, I have an idea. So I walked out in the road, and here comes a 5-ton Army 5-ton wrecker down. And I flagged him down, and it was a Vietnamese soldier. And I told him, I said, we got a job for you. And I explained it to him. We got to take one engine off, put the other up there. And he kept saying, no can do, no can do. So I pulled my pistol out and I said, can do? He says, can do. So that's how we switched engines.
So that's the way orders happen there.
Oh yeah, I'm very convincing at times.
So you retired from, what did you do after Vietnam? You stayed in for a few years.
Oh yeah, came back from Vietnam the second time, went to Germany, and everybody said, well, why do you want to go from one overseas assignment to another overseas assignment? I said, well, I got this idea that I would spend my next tour in Germany, and then whenever I came back to the States, I'd only have 3 more years to do before I retired. That way, I could be looking for a job. And it worked out perfect.
Cool.
So I got a job at a hospital in Estherville, Iowa, as maintenance up there.
And you stayed there how long?
Quite a while.
I know.
38, about a little better than 38 years.
Wow.
We built a house up in a corner lot right across from mother-in-law's. So it was very, very nice. I only had 2 blocks to walk to work and back. And if you've ever been in Iowa, they got snow.
But summertime would be a nice walk.
Oh yes, it is.
So you built a house right across from your mother-in-law's.
Yeah, there was this old lady. She had passed away, and she had a daughter. Daughter didn't want to sell the house. She went to California. She came back, and then she decided to sell the house. So I sent some money to my father-in-law. He bought the property. So after we retired, we're going to build there. And I told this old guy, Shaky Miller, I think he was. He always shook with his hands. And I sold him the house for $1. He gave me silver dollar for the house.
Which house?
The little old house that was on the corner lot.
Oh, where the two big oaks were.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there was a house there.
Yep.
Okay.
So I sold it for $1.
Okay.
I said, but the catch is you have to move it. So after he had it moved, we built there and we lived there about 38 years.
Now, do you still have the silver dollar?
I think so.
Okay. I've seen all the knickknacks in your house.
Oh my!
It wouldn't surprise me you did. So.
And I do a lot of riding for Iron Butt.
Yeah.
I've done 4 or 5 Iron Butt runs. We was out at Run for the Wall, and a friend of mine down at Texas says, why don't we do the 4 corners? Oh, okay, we'll do the 4 corners next year. So he came up to his reunion in Maryland, and he said, well, we'll start from here. So we went from Maryland or Virginia up to Maine, tip of Maine. Then we went across the lakes over to Sault Ste. Marie over to Oregon. Then from there we went down to San Diego. And then from San Diego we went back to Key West.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we finished that.
Now, do you want to explain what the actual 4 corners are?
Well, it's the 4 corners of the United States.
You and I know, but we have people that make it a what 4 corners.
Oh yeah, there's a 4 corners in Arizona and what have you.
Yeah, that's where the 4 states come together.
Yeah, but no, the 4 corners, the northernmost point, the eastern, western,
Yes.
southern
Yeah.
of the contiguous U.S. And Val and I got all those in, but we didn't get them on one trip. We had to make.
Oh.
Well, no, we still don't have the northern one. We still have to go up in that notch in Canada to get the northern one. But we got 3 of the 4 so far.
Yes. And the next year, he said, why don't we do the 4 corners geographical?
That's what we did, the geographical 4 corners.
Yes. So we started out from Key West, and we had our tile, which has our number on it, and we go up to Kansas, Lebanon, I think it's Lebanon, Kansas. You go up there, and you take a picture.
Yep.
And then from there, you shoot up to another one, up to Maine.
Mm-hmm.
We went up to Oregon then. And then we had to come back to Kansas again. And then we went up to Maine, the farthest point in Maine.
Right, it's a lighthouse up there.
Yes, and we got about halfway back, and he gets a phone call that his grandmother passed away. So he said, I asked him, I said, do you want to make the funeral? And he said, I'd like to. Oh, he said, do you think we can? He had a gold-winged trike. I was on 2 wheels. And I said, yeah, it's a snap. We could do that easy.
Where were you?
We was about we just left Boston.
Oh, so you were heading for Iowa.
We was heading for Kansas.
Oh, heading for Kansas.
Yeah, that was our third point. And so the first day we did about 900 miles. Got a motel, got up. The next day we did about 950, 975. We got down to Oklahoma. He already had reservations for a motel, so I went, rested up. He went to the funeral. We came back. And the catch was, we had to go back up to Kansas to get our picture taken at the gas station there. Well, there was a gas station that had it. We had to get the picture of the gas station.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
so
Yeah,
they knew we put those
when
points.
when you do the geographic points, I assume you're doing this for the hog patch? Or
No.
Just do it. Okay.
Yeah, just do it.
Well, in Lebanon, Kansas, the geographic center is out in the middle of a field.
There's a gas station there in town you have to stop.
Oh, is that okay? Because
Yeah.
because there's a tiny church.
Oh, yes.
A quarter of the size of this room,
Yeah.
And there's a monument, and there's a pavilion, and there's a picnic
Yep.
area. But yeah, we've been there, and we were also to the Geographic Center of North America, which is a little bit north of there. And
Is that right?
I can't remember where that was at. That's in. Is that in Iowa? That was in Iowa. Or no, that's in North Dakota.
North
You don't
Dakota.
have to just shake your head. You talk over me other times in the camera.
I know. No,
that's up
it's in North
That's in
Dakota,
North Dakota, yeah.
and it has a monument in the center of a parking lot there, and
Yeah,
it was a
and
little
if you
diner.
and you gotta literally hike to.
Really?
There's no road to that one.
Oh,
No,
And-
there is.
No, we did. We visited the monument. We didn't visit the actual pin where the Geographic Center of North America is. But they have a little monument in town for a tourist attraction. We
Oh,
made
really?
that one.
well, we just got up there in time, and then we run down this very new motel, and it was very nice. They treated us good. Anyhow, we booked down to San Diego to finish our trip, and we was resting up for about 2 days, and there was a club down there. They were going to go up to Canada for a run. Oh, that sounds very interesting. Let's go up to Canada. Luckily, we had our passport with us. So we went up to Canada, rode around Canada, and then on our way back, that's where we departed in Portland, Oregon. He went down to Texas, and I booked over to East for home.
Yeah.
That's when I lived in Esterville, Iowa.
Yeah. Now you've traveled a lot on a motorcycle. You've traveled a lot, but you've traveled a lot on a motorcycle in different times. When I think about what's the best road, what's the coolest thing I've seen, I got actually a couple of them up there on the wall. We'll have to take a picture of that here, but in that one picture you can see me on my bike in front of the curves ahead sign.
Oh, yeah.
That's in Northern California, and it's got a curves ahead sign, and Val's zooming in on it as we speak. Probably can't get it for glare off the window, can you? And that curves ahead sign, underneath it in that square is the next 140 miles. And I can't remember if that's Route 37 or 39 across Northern California.
Oh, my darn.
From it ends at Eureka. It starts at Chico, California,
Oh,
to Eureka,
yes.
California, and that is a gorgeous road.
Really?
And then when we rode up the PCH from there, and when we were coming back across, we went up to the northwesternmost point in the U.S. and we started to cross the Cascades, and we waited to do the trip across, so we weren't rushing to get through it before dark. And Cascades is called the Alps of America.
Yep.
Have you ever been across there?
Yep.
And I was in a motorcycle accident a couple of years before that, and I was life flighted, and I pulled over at the first or second mountain we crossed, and the views were just incredible.
Outstanding.
Yeah, prettiest mountains in the country. And I pulled over to the side of the road at one of the tourist parking spots, and I sat there and I just sat in my bike. And Val knows I don't stop to take pictures, and I just usually keep riding. And she got off her bike and came up and, "What's wrong?" And I'm sitting there bawling. And, "What's going on?" And I couldn't believe God let me live long enough to see that. So when people say, "What's the nicest road you've ever been on?" Those were both on the same trip. That was in 2011. And that trip across Northern California was just beautiful. And then that trip, and then coming back, it was on Route 20, I think it is. And that just blew my mind. Can you, in all the hundreds of thousands of miles you go on motorcycles, can you picture a road that you want to see again?
Yeah, we had gone up to Alaska twice.
I haven't made that yet, so don't make me jealous.
And we went up there, and we went up to Fairbanks, and from Fairbanks we went up to the Arctic Circle, which they have a platform up there for taking pictures and this that. But you have to leave early in the morning, and there's a gas station up at the river, and from there you gas up and you go up to the Arctic Circle, and you best be back before 5 o'clock, because if they close up the gas station, you have to stay overnight
In the
because
parking lot.
because you won't make it back with what gas you have. And anyhow, we did that trip. But as we was coming back, there was a lake and the mountains and the snow on the mountains, and it was reflecting off of the water, and it looked like it was this was the mountain and this was the mountain here too, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah.
That's one of the places we really enjoyed.
Beautiful.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Where do you live now, John?
With my wife.
And?
Girlfriend?
Not yet. No, we live down in Virginia, in Yorktown, Virginia, which is right on the battleground.
And what do you do every 4th of July?
We go down to the neighbors, and they live right on the waterfront, and we have a big picnic. Everybody brings some food down there and this and that, and they barbecue, and we sit there and watch up to the bridge where they have the fireworks. And then when it's over with, we walk home. We don't have to go through the traffic or anything like that. And we go and sit on our porch and watch all the traffic drive by.
So the fireworks, are they just like out over the field?
No, they're over the water.
Oh, can you see the water from your friend's house, from your neighbors?
Yes, she's right on the river, the bay,
And what do you see down in the water?
the reflection of the fireworks. And then sometimes they'll pause to reload or something, and you look over to the east or whatever, and there's another town shooting fireworks reflecting off the water. And it's just beautiful.
We were fortunate enough to be there in 2010. We spent 4th of July with you. We pulled in just at 6 o'clock when you were getting ready to walk over.
Yep.
John, I got to tell you, that's my most special 4th of July.
Oh, I got to tell you something. Whenever I was running, taking pictures for ABC. Do you know what the ABC is?
Oh yeah. ABC for Hog.
Yes.
Yeah. ABC for Hog is where you get a town named Adamsville or
Alphabetical order, counties, town, things like that.
Zelienople, Pennsylvania. What's the one in Ohio that everybody needs? Is it X?
Yes.
Val broke down there. We got
Xenia.
fixed-
No.
Yeah.
Xenia?
Val got fixed at Harley.
Oh, yeah.
Stater go out.
I did.
A couple years ago, heading for Arkansas. And so we had, the Harley shop at that town. I'm like, well, we're not doing the ABCs, but there's one.
I stop at every Harley shop because I break down everywhere.
I was down in Delaware. I got two, I don't know what numbers they were, but I got two of the alphabets. And I had to be in Pittsburgh by 5 or 6 o'clock, to my sister's place. How am I going to do this? So I'm coming up there, and there's a T road, and there's an old gas station that says Hoagie's. And this is actually a Vienna bread, a long one, slit in half. They put all the fixing in it. I said, well, that'll save me time for stopping. So I got it, and I had it all wrapped up, and I shoved it down my jacket. And so as I'm riding up the highways and that, I would raise it up a little bit and take a bite and keep tooling along, raise it up some more, keep eating my hoagie as I'm traveling. So I save time by not stopping for supper or something like that. But I made it up to Pittsburgh about 6 o'clock.
I beef jerky.
Oh yes.
T-shirt pocket beef jerky, and pretzels. But pretzels don't last long enough.
No.
And yeah, it's amazing how much I think about food. Obviously.
And whenever we stop at a motel on Run for the Wall, I always make sure that I take a sandwich with me.
Mm-hmm.
I either go down and get bacon and eggs sandwich or what do you call it? Bagel,
Yeah.
cream cheese on it. And I keep it in my pocket. So as I'm
They
going,
stay warm that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
as I'm riding down the road, and then before lunch, I just pull it up and I start eating it. And everybody, when we stop for gas, they say, "John, did you eat your sandwich or what?" I said, "Oh, I ate that a long time ago." And I always have some fruit with me.
Mm-hmm. So you spent many years in Esterville. You moved to Yorktown, and you're still at Yorktown, but there's a giant portable house in my backyard right now. So you bought yourself a motorhome, and how long you been on the road right now?
We left the 5th of last month. What was that? August, and we was coming up through Wheeling, West Virginia, on our way home, and I told Carol, I says, "I got a good idea. Let's go up and see Bud and Val and their Val's mother. We're this close." And she said, "You had this all planned." I said, "Well, not exactly, but it's a good idea." So we came up here, then I had to call my sister and my daughter and let them know that we wouldn't be there this weekend. But we have to be next weekend.
Yeah.
Because my son-in-law has a birthday.
And your son-in-law. So you have kids. We haven't
Yep.
talked about kids.
Well, we have a daughter, and she's 56, and she's a doctor, education.
Okay.
She went to Connecticut for her second degree. While she was up there, the professor from William and Mary's said, "When on your way back to Louisiana, stop in. We want to talk to you." So she stopped in, and they asked her what she would like to out of life. They said, "Well, she would like to graduate from William and Mary's." So they offered her the position of working in Gifted and Talented, 20 hours a week, and they would give her $500 expenses for the month. So that was real good. And then they come up with the corker that for her to stay in college for her doctorate degree, and they would pay for her whole tuition. So she didn't have, when she graduated, she had no bills to pay for. And she was an adopted child. And then when we was in Germany, we adopted our son. He had a GI father and a German mother. And he's a welder.
Yeah.
He's got 2 certificates for welding.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he weld on? He welds on fire trucks. They make fire trucks, 10 fire trucks a week.
Wow.
So that's 40 fire trucks. And they go all over the world. They go to Germany, go to South America, wherever their orders are required.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's a big family business.
Yeah. They treat them like family.
Yep, they do.
Excellent. So, John, we've talked about a whole bunch of things. Is there anything you want to share?
What can I share? My experiences?
Well, we only have 2 batteries and 6 cards we can fill. So,
No, I've had a lot of experiences. I was going out to my daughter's place where they lived down at Missouri, and I stopped for gas at the Missouri line, and this bike, I seen this bike and his girlfriend or whatever taking off going west into Missouri. So I hurried up and got gas, and I caught up with him, and I told him to pull over to the side of the road. And I said, where are you coming from? They said, well, we just returning from Sturgis. I said, I'll give you some good advice. Best put your helmet on, because Missouri is a helmet law.
oh, it's helmet state.
And right after they got it on and took back off on the road, here comes the state trooper down the other side.
So now you're on this trip where you're on right now. You were at Sturgis this year,
Yes.
but you don't have the virus.
No, I left them have it.
Oh, okay. So,
No, Sturgis was over with.
yeah. Oh, so you went out afterwards.
Yes, which is really nice. I mean, you could go and ride through the different roads up there, and whenever you pull over to the side to take pictures, you could pull out. You don't have all the traffic to worry about.
I bet all the T-shirts are on a better sale then too.
Oh yes,
They-
three for $10 or whatever. I've had enough T-shirts.
Well, if I bought 2, I could sew them together and make one T-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
For me, yeah.
And we went out to a place called Hill City, and there's a hotel as you're coming into town, and it's it used to be it is a hotel, but they have they serve steaks and baked potato and a salad, which is they take a head of lettuce, quarter it, and you get a quarter of it with the dressing on.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And so we was out there this year, and they're closed on Sundays. So we came back, we went up there and had it, and we're on our way back, and we get maybe about 20, 30 miles from Deadwood, and we hit hail, as big as golf balls. And I looked over the side, trying to watch the road, and I happened to see 3 bikes over on the right side, so I pulled over to the right and stopped. We got off and went underneath a shelter with them. We had our helmets on, so we didn't get pounded. This one lady said she had welts on the side of her cheeks from a week before she got hit with hail.
Mm.
They don't ride with helmets.
Mm.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Any
But
damage to the bike?
yes, I had 3 spots on my front fender. Not bad, but I'll get them pounded out.
Yeah.
And in my experiences, I was a motorcycle instructor.
Oh.
And that was another story, because I went up to Spencer and took the test, and it was a new coach up there. And he said I didn't pass, but he wouldn't tell me what it was. And so Cheryl, a girl up there, was she passed her instructions. So the 2 chief instructors says, come down to Kirkwood in Rapid City and take the test. I said, okay. So I stayed at one of the instructors' house, and I'd go back and take the whole test, take the whole course all over again. And I passed it, and they told me the first day I started, they said, we already signed your certificate that you passed. And I really enjoyed being an instructor. But it has changed quite a bit from when we did it. And I'd go through different places, they'd say, well, there's an opening here. Do you want to take it? I said, yeah. And one time they asked me, it says, in Spencer, they said, we got about 30 kids that want to take the moped course. Would you be interested? I said, yeah, that's only 18 miles over. I said, I'll go over and give it to him. So as I was instructing him, I said, now I want you to put your finger in your left ear. Because I'm going to tell you something very important. And I don't want it to go in one ear and out the other. This teacher walks by, and so he stopped me on our break and said, what's this with the finger in the ear? And I told him, I said, well, I was telling him something very important, and I didn't want it to go in one ear and out the other, so I had them all sit there with their finger in their ear. And he said, you know, that's a good idea. I'm going to have to try it with my class.
I'm also a motorcycle safety instructor.
Yes.
And I'm going to steal that. We start teaching here in about a month. The program was shut down because of the virus.
Yep.
But we're going to start teaching here in a couple more weeks, and I'm going to steal that. That's a good idea.
You could have it.
Thank you. Well, I'm not stealing it if you say I can have it.
You could have it.
I want to steal it.
No, you can't steal it.
I want to do one more thing. I want John to do one more thing before we end this episode.
Okay.
I want Johnny to stand up and turn around so I can zoom in on your patches on your
Really?
vest. Yeah, I thought that'd be cool.
What about me?
I want you to do the same thing.
Okay.
You want the front
No,
first?
you just stay back there.
Stand there.
Okay, I'll just zoom in and we'll see what all is here. Ooh. Look at him trying to move around. Oh, wait.
I won't tell that.
Wait, let me just go back there a little bit so I can see a little bit of, okay, turn around slowly.
Right or left?
Doesn't matter.
What's CRS? It's not what I thought it was.
Can't remember shit. You see this patch up here?
Uh-huh.
What's that? Jane Fonda?
Upside down.
You always put them on upside down because she is not welcome on any
Agreed.
on any of the Vietnam soldiers.
Boy, you got a lot of patches on there. Awesome. What year is that Sturgis from?
Then I got all these red ones down here. That's from Run for the Wall.
Yeah, I see that. Australian Vietnam veterans. Are you a Virginia State policeman too?
I will tell you a story on that.
Okay, go ahead, sit down. Tell me a story. I'll get
Okay.
my camera set and then I gotta go check the carrots.
I had a brother, a Mason brother. He retired, and so I said, I won't mention any names, but I asked him if he could give me a patch, state police patch. He said, sure, but don't tell where I got it from. And so I'm going to California, and I'm riding down towards Bakerfield, around an Air Force base, and I was tooling on two wheels, little fast, but
Above the suggested speed limit?
yes, above it,
Suggested.
yes,
Yeah.
quite a bit above it.
Okay.
And I looked in my mirrors as I'm going around this bend, and here's a state police coming around quite fast after me. So I thought, but when he seen my patch on my vest says Iowa State Police,
Uh-huh.
he waved to me and just kept going.
I need one of them. So, not that I ever exceed the speed limit.
I usually, since I'm older, I travel 5 miles over. I'm in a position now that I don't have to rush here or rush there.
It's a nice position, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You get to enjoy where you're going. You want to show us your vest?
Well, I can.
That's not your vest.
What do you mean that's not my vest?
This isn't your vest.
My shirt's plain. It's full. That's an important pin right there to me. That was an event pin from up in St. Mary's for our friend Kathy Lepoveski. She had already passed, and the festival was dedicated to her. So I've had a couple different vests. I've moved my patches, and this one goes
What's that Harley patch there?
That's broken wings, and that's if you've survived a motorcycle wreck, and I've been life flighted twice. So the second time I got life flighted, a friend of mine at A-Bait who runs hospital crews, he got me that, and they pinned me at the A-Bait meeting. That's a helicopter life flight pin. He says, "Do you want two of them?" I says, "No, one's plenty." So
Wait, hold still.
oh, and that one's important. That's instructions because of those broken wings.
You have one other pin up here I want to see. And that's the one that's an A-Bait pin
All from Arkansas.
with the cross in the middle.
Yeah. That was given me by a guy from Oklahoma. And CMA. If you ever see that patch and you're having troubles, if you see that patch on somebody, you can always ask that person for help. We'll do what we can to pray for you, help you, meet your needs. Sometimes we can't do it, but we will try. CMA is the Christian Motorcyclist Association. Anyway, what were you asking about over here?
No, that was, you got it.
Oh, okay.
We talked about it.
Okay, so we're going to talk to Carol. She's got a couple stories for us.
Where's she at?
I don't know.
Well, I didn't
It
tell
wasn't
her.
my turn to watch her, John.
I didn't tell her to come over yet because they were watching church.
Oh,
So,
So anyway, this is a special episode of I'm going to start that over, Val. It's one of the few cuts we're going to have to make. She's giving me hand signs to wrap it up.
I'll give you hand signs.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the Compressor Guru with a bonus episode. We're going to be doing some more of these. We're just going to put them up, I'll say willy-nilly, whenever we happen to have an interview with somebody that isn't basically a technical interview, but chances are if you're watching the Compressor Guru for technical advice on your machines, you're probably a gearhead, and we thought you'd enjoy these kind of things. John, appreciate you.
I enjoyed
a
it.
ton. So,
I always enjoy coming up here.
excellent.
We got memories.
Yeah. Thank you. Like and subscribe. God bless.
Thank you, Johnny, for joining us today and sharing with us. In our next bonus episode, we will have Carol Shuster, Johnny's wife, and her side of living with a character like Johnny. Thank you for joining us, and God bless you all. Have a wonderful day.